Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series Stars. We're so happy you're here, because today's story is the kind of glow-up of joy, nerves, and pure heart that reminds us why we love sharing these moments with you. We're diving into a night that began as a simple plan and transformed into a breathtaking celebration. The headline says it all: a top-tier party, a shock for the guests of honor, and a cascade of memories no one will forget. Tonight's stars? Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda. Get comfortable, because we're unpacking how a secret surprise blossomed from a whisper into an unforgettable night, the kind that makes you believe in timing, love, and the magic of good friends. Before we start, if you haven't already, now's the perfect moment to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into your favorite stories. You're part of this family, and we love having you with us for every twist and turn. All set? Then let's step into the night that belonged to Gökberk and Cemre. Picture this: a quiet evening on the schedule, nothing loud, nothing flashy, just a low-key dinner plan. That serene setup isn't an accident, it's the perfect blanket under which a surprise can breathe. The planning began weeks before, stitched together in careful secrecy by a circle of close friends who love these two fiercely. Location scouting was done in silence. The venue needed to be elegant but discreet, intimate yet flexible, a place where the mood could shift from hush to fireworks in a heartbeat. The decor had to echo warmth without screaming for attention. Think candlelit glow, white and gold accents, a hint of freshness from delicate flowers, and lighting that could pivot from cozy to celebratory the moment they crossed the threshold. The first wave of guests arrived with an almost conspiratorial calm. They were the quiet architects who double-checked every detail: music on a soft simmer, phones silenced, cameras primed but hidden, entrances coordinated so no one gave the game away. People trickled in, each one hiding a grin. You could feel it building, the press of anticipation, the flutter in the stomach, that electricity that races through a room when everyone knows a secret except the two people who matter most. Then, the moment. Gökberk and Cemre walked in hand, expecting nothing more than a mellow evening together. The lighting lifted a shade brighter, the music swelled just a touch, and faces began to bloom from the dim edges of the room: friends, family, people who have stood beside them at their best and their worst. The wall of surprise hit them like a wave. Gasps, laughter, arms thrown around shoulders, cheeks against cheeks. Cemre's eyes shimmered. Gökberk blinked in disbelief, then exhaled with that grin he wears when he's overwhelmed but trying to keep it together. For a few seconds, they couldn't speak. Then the flood opened: hugs, tears, breathless exclamations. It wasn't just that so many people had come, it was that every single person there meant something real to them. The secrecy had been impeccable. Their closest friends coordinated via hidden group chats, cleverly coded nicknames, and calls made at odd hours to avoid suspicion. There was even an alibi set up, an intimate pre-dinner for a minor celebration, a believable distraction that cleared the path straight to the venue. Everything was designed to protect that first explosion of emotion. Even the smallest details were loaded with intention. The flowers mirrored Cemre's love for airy, natural touches. The color palette whispered elegance without stealing focus. The playlist started as a gentle hum to set the tone, ready to bloom into rhythm when the time was right. Once the shock faded into glowing happiness, the night took on a life of its own. Impromptu speeches began, each one a story stitched into the wider tapestry of who these two are. One friend recalled late-night rehearsals when Gökberk pushed through exhaustion with that dry humor everyone loves, and how Cemre would quietly show up with tea and calm the room without saying much at all. Another told a travel story that had everyone roaring. A chaotic airport dash where Cemre navigated the storm with unshakable grace and Gökberk made everyone laugh so hard that even the crisis felt like a memory worth cherishing. Each voice painted a new layer of their bond, a mosaic of resilience, tenderness, and mischief. There were toasts that made you feel the air shift, those declarations that take you from laughter to goosebumps in a heartbeat. A closest friend, voice trembling, called them a lighthouse in a foggy world, steady and generous. Someone else spoke about the quiet ways they show up for people, how they remember birthdays no one else remembers, how they text at the right moment, how they cheer for others when no one's watching. Every toast was a heartbeat. Every word landed. And then came the music. The early tracks were soft and conversational, but soon the tempo lifted and the dance floor came alive. Gökberk and Cemre moved together with that unmistakable ease, the kind born from years of learning each other's rhythms. They laughed, spun, forgot themselves for a while. Friends joined in. Relatives who usually hover at the edge of the room found themselves tapping their feet, then swaying, then fully in it, as if the night had reached out and tugged them gently into the center. Old-school favorites blended into contemporary hits, each song catching a different group and pulling them closer together. The room became a pulse, alive and warm. Little details deepened the magic. A photo corner, stocked with playful props, became a hotspot where shy smiles turned bold. Someone slipped on a feathered headband, someone else attempted oversized sunglasses and a crown. The laughter there was loud and real, each snap a proof of joy, each frame a shared joke that will make people grin long after the night has faded. The cake drew its own circle of admirers, elegant, meticulously designed, and so delicious it was gone almost as quickly as it appeared. The food matched the moment, an abundant buffet mixing comfort with sparkle, traditional favorites nestled beside creative bites that kept everyone refueled and chatting. What struck us most was the ongoing conversation between Gökberk and Cemre, spoken and unspoken. They made their rounds with gracious warmth, greeting everyone, trading quick stories, genuinely thanking people for coming. But even across the room, their eyes kept finding each other. When one turned, the other was already there. A hand on a shoulder. A squeeze of fingers. That wordless language of shared history, moments both fragile and fierce, that filled the space between them with something unmistakable. The night wasn't just about a surprise. It was about honoring a connection that keeps growing, that charms and steadies and inspires. In the quieter corners, smaller circles formed and deepened. Childhood friends reunited over inside jokes that still landed perfectly. Work colleagues who usually rush past each other found time to really talk, swapping plans, encouragements, and thoughts about what comes next. Relatives who don't often share the same room stayed longer than they expected, drawn into conversations that mattered. That's the miracle of a party like this. It lifts the whole room and, at the same time, weaves intimate threads that make everyone feel seen. And the surprises didn't stop at the door-opening moment. Midway through the evening, it happened again, another hushed intake of breath as someone unexpected appeared, people who had traveled from far away, carving time out of complicated lives just to stand there and say, "I'm here for you." There were reunions that began with stunned silence and ended in laughter soaked with tears. A cousin returning from another continent. A friend from the earliest days who hadn't been in the same city for years. Each arrival was a second spark, a reminder that love travels great distances. All the effort showed. The invisible labor of planning became visible in the way the night felt effortless. Every piece clicked. Every moment lived. When the dance floor surged again near midnight, you could sense it, everyone choosing joy, leaning into it together. The hours slipped forward until they pooled in the very early morning, and still, no one wanted to go. People left glowing, holding something light but powerful, a souvenir you can't frame but you carry anyway. As the evening stretched, a few last toasts sealed the feeling of the night. One spoke about the kind of success that matters when the cameras are off, the kindnesses that don't trend, the private gestures that reveal who a person is. Another offered a wish. For laughter to stay close, for courage to keep showing up, for the home they've built together to remain a place where everyone feels welcome. By the time the lights softened again and the final songs played, it felt like a circle closing just to open again somewhere new. The surprise had been perfect, but what lingered was bigger, a shared certainty that Gökberk and Cemre are surrounded by people who believe in them, a community that reflects the love they give. They left holding hands, still smiling at nothing and everything, loaded with gifts and stories and the rare calm that follows a night done right. Let's replay the heartbeats that made it unforgettable. The stealthy planning that stayed airtight. The breath-stealing entrance. The avalanche of hugs and tears. The speeches that flipped between deep feeling and hilarious memories, the kind that make you want to call your best friend. The dance floor that turned into an orbit with two people at its center. The photo booth snapshots that will end up on fridges and bedroom mirrors. The cake, the food, the laughter that didn't quit. The late arrivals who proved that distance is no match for love. Altogether, it was a soaring reminder that the best surprises are crafted from care, courage, and the willingness to show up for each other. To everyone who planned, who slipped into that room early to hang a garland straight or test the light one last time, who took deep breaths and trusted the alibi, your effort mattered. To every guest who brought a story, a smile, an honest toast, you built the atmosphere no decor can manufacture. And to Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, thank you for meeting the surprise with open hearts and letting the night turn into what it wanted to be, a celebration of who you are together. If this little journey brought you joy, share it. Pass it to a friend who needs a lift. And if you've ever organized a surprise like this, tell us how it went. What did you learn? What made it unforgettable? Drop your stories in the comments, we read them, we feel them, and they're part of what keeps this community so alive. Don't forget to like the video if it warmed your evening and to subscribe to Turkish series Stars with notifications on. We're here for the love stories, the laughter, the behind-the-scenes heart, and we can't wait to bring you the next chapter. Until then, good night and see you soon.